Hello everybody. Diving into some green tea today. Hopefully the audio, I'm going to try to be a little bit quieter. There's going to be some background noise. That's life. It's happening. So today I have some interesting green tea from Viet Sun Tea, located out of Hanoi, and or at least their service address, I suppose. And that's going to be vietsuntea.com. I connected with Steve, who awesomely is posting his actual email on the package. That is great. And sorry, I'm obsessed with it, having it sharp, y'all. Trying to, at least. And so, yeah, so a commenter, I'm going to start pretty low on the tea quantity here and on the temperature and try to figure this out, because this is going to be pretty different. It's going to be green tea produced in Vietnam. So I'm going for 175 degree water, and I'm not measuring how much leaf, but it's basically just one leaf's worth of coating the bottom of the guy one. Okay, so someone commented on one of our episodes and mentioned Viet Sun Tea, and I read it and was like, hey, awesome. Thanks for the recommendation. Always excited to connect with people. Reached out to Steve on an email, and he got back to me and wrote a great, I'm just so appreciative of everyone's responses. So thank you, Steve, for your kind note. And wanted to send over some awesome tea they've been producing in Vietnam. So this is exciting. And I'm going to go ahead and give this maybe like 15 seconds. I'm using what I would consider to be less leaf than optimal to start here. And I'm also just going to brew this a little differently. So I want to get a sense of, oh man. Ew, wow, it's very reflective. Sorry, everybody. Is it possible to, no. Okay, one sec. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to pause because it's going to keep happening. So sorry, everybody, if you can't handle the background noise of life. Not the right show for today. That was probably 30 seconds. I probably should have timed that. Really beautiful, clean liqueur. The green color of the actual leaves themselves is really deep and dark. So I can see why they're calling this deep forest green, because that certainly is the case. Goodness, do we want to be listening to some music instead of me talking about this and the background sounds? I don't know. I will say that even I need to take a second here. Let this be happening. And welcome it. And also welcome this tea I'm about to have. Cool. Okay, I'm good. Sorry about that, everybody. So the green color is actually also fairly, there's like quite a bit of variety to me, especially based on the producer and the kind of story here. I think that's probably because it's handmade and pan fried. Okay, I'm gonna get into some smells. Really high sweet fruit, almost like persimmon thing, a little savory. Really mellow. Tropical fruit. Smells really fruity. There's kind of that nice bake. Nose on the cha high. I think I lost that in terms of the timing, so that was my bad. Incredibly perfumey and jammy aroma. It smells really, really, really good. So I'm excited to drink this. It's good. Cheers, everybody. You can't control anything, let alone. The chaos of pair of 2-year-olds. All right, really nice to start. This brewing parameter is interesting. I should have heated up the gaiwan and cup realistically to brew it like this, but I didn't actually expect it to taste so nice to start. And what I mean by that is specifically that I'm using low heat, low leaf to see where to approach this tea from, instead of starting really in a deeply intense way and having a harder time getting back to a more delicate approach. Start with a delicate approach, work my way up to something that's a bit more intense. So this is my first look at this tea, smelling and tasting of it. I can tell that there can be the astringency that's going to come out eventually, but right now, really no bitterness or astringency whatsoever. But kind of a nice basiness that, again, I expect to develop here as we're drinking. I'm not getting the fruit as much at all to start. It's more mellow. I'd say I was going to comment on cooling versus warming. I'd say cooling maybe. Let me get pause and get something I can go and look at these dry leaves with everyone. 1 sec. Okay. I'm going to do another like 30 seconds. 180 water. Really noticing the change in, or the variety of colors of the green. So again, that reads to me as older material, potentially more small production. Not much on the nose on this. Wow, really lovely. One of the darkest green teas I've seen so far. Try to highlight that a bit more. I love it. So much enthusiasm. So I'm going to try to show everybody see if I can really kind of get into all of these colors here. So you can see almost a blue hue to the dry leaf, really deep verdant green, well named. Yeah, really nice residual sweetness. This to me has a texture more of like a daily drinker. It's not so far. I'm gonna push it. So I tried to give it a lot more heat this time. Jesus, and so we'll see. But to start, it has that texture to me. A bit less complex, but really well balanced and tasty to start. A bit more honey now and really nice sweetness. Still no bitterness at all. Maybe on the way gone, a slight return to that profile. One thing that Steve said in his in the post about this, or the page or whatever. We zoomed in correctly here. We focused. Right there. There we go. Yeah, you can really kind of notice that blue character. And again, the leaves are not perfectly oxidized amongst themselves. Not a complaint in any stretch. You'll notice some of the leaves where even there's a little bit of stem that has become a little bit browner. Let's see if I can get in there. And this is just kind of part of the processing of the plant, usually from a small scale. You know, when you have a larger scale, the distribution of those little imperfections per batch of, or per quantity of tea is much lower. And that's going to be from, in this case, I'm guessing maybe this a little bit of scorching in the wok as it was pan fried for the Kilgreen step. One thing that's interesting about this tea too that Steve said is that they do process this material into white tea. And so I quickly looked through, but it was a cursory attempt to see if that white tea is in this box. One second, this is just, again, just the generosity of people. So it's just like, you know, a lot. I think some of these are definitely not currently available in the store as well. So I'm just, thank you again, Steve. Just beyond, also really well packaged, but beyond grateful. This is really pleasant. I'm enjoying now a bit more of the grassiness on this. Again, not in any real bitter complexion, but just a bit more of the savory, earthy grassiness that green tea is so lovely and known for. I'm getting more heat now. Kind of a light honeysuckle floweriness to this. Really mellow. Man, this is just the perfect, I think, daily drinker green tea for me. Enough presence in body that actually, I think this is a tea that you also would be able to share with a tea nerd as a casual brew to enjoy and talk about. Frankly, just a new place to be drinking teas from. Could I tell you that this was from Vietnam? No, I couldn't. I did have one ripe earlier than this, just off camera, and it definitely was different. So I'm excited to bring on some of those teas. But this, no, I couldn't tell you. Personally, I'm also a total green tea noob still. So in terms of flavor notes that I'm noticing, the stuff feels very familiar to Chinese green teas, at least that I've had so far. Let me just quickly dive in a bit more to the site here, see if there's anything else I mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, Steve mentioned that this might have some aging potential. The material itself, grown, tea trees in this area are growing to the heights of 10 plus meters at 2,200 meters of elevation. For us idiots, it's like, huge trees, 30 feet tall trees at over 6,000, 7,000 feet of elevation. Tea brews up slowly, rich, clear, golden soup. Indeed. Try not to. I want to read the information about these teas without reading the flavor notes about these teas, because I really don't want to go into a session with any sort of preconceived notion about what I'm supposed to be tasting. I really don't like that. I also don't read movie reviews before I go watch movies. I like to know how it's received. Do people who I like it? Great. Don't tell me anything else about it. That's just me. So everyone else is different on that. Might be helpful as a tea drinker to know when you're starting. Hey, I'm going to notice malty flavors in these black teas from Yunnan. Great, cool. Okay, now I can kind of say, oh, that thing I'm noticing across these different Yunnan black teas is a kind of a malty flavor. Oh, great, I'm going to go have a malty candy and notice the malty texture of that, Whopper, right? Whoppers have kind of a malty flavor, don't they? Oh, they're so gross to me, though. So you can really see, I'm just looking deeply into the leaves here, and really notice the red stem and a couple of redder notes. You're going to see this a lot more in raw tea, of course. And so again, to the idea that this might have some, this might be interesting aged, potentially. I don't know if I really taste too much bitterness that I would want to age out of something like this if I were to turn it into something a bit more like a matcha, just in terms of the material. Not that I know what I'm talking about, to be clear, but just in terms of what I would suppose, this doesn't today have the grassy bitterness that I would expect would cling into the raw processing style of a tea, and as a result, the sort of raw processing style helping slowly age out some of those harsher, intense flavors. I don't know if I see it in this one specifically. Cheers. Much more salty. Interesting. Oh, nice. This is more dynamic than I expected. I can't say it's so categorically different. It's not like 1 act, 2 act, 3 acts. But also I'm giving it some different brewing parameters. So I'm now at 185, and I'm still giving it 15, 30 seconds. And I'm still not really getting any of the grassiness. I think if I started at 185 on this, it might have been a little bit harsh to start. So 180, you could do a flash steeping on 185 and see how that performs. I like the viscosity of it right here. This is nice. Again, this is my first session drinking this tea. I'm approaching it, experimenting with it. I'm going to see now, I'm going to actually boil water and see what I can do on a 4th steeping here. And really try to push this tea. These leaves are fairly actually well rolled. And so in general, they do, yeah, you can notice even in the dry leaf, for example, here, you really see that different levels of oxidation on the different parts of the leaf. Probably pretty tough to point out, but here and here and here, there are just lighter notes. And as this unfurls, we'll see something that has, I'm trying to find oh, here's an extreme example of it, but a different color complexion. Okay, 1 sec. Okay, I think that stopped. Boiling water. Gonna flash steep this. If it is bitter now, it'll be a little bit interesting. Okay, I'm giving it a little longer than a flash steep. Looks lighter in terms of the soup. Get back in here on the aroma. Much more buttery now, a little eggy. More of those kind of like protein, soft, sweet protein flavors. Really nice, pleasant kind of hay off of the nose. Oh, this is good. And again, I'm enjoying the complexion of the color of the leaves. I don't need everything to be perfect. You know, the downside, I guess, on this is maybe you have one really solid year of processing and all the conditions are perfect, but it's a super small batch and it's really hard to replicate the next year. So in a lot of ways, addressing these teas is kind of more about the material and what you notice in the leaves, the bushes themselves, and how to process it based on that. Cheers. I don't know how much farmland they have for their bushes, so hard to know if there's variety or even multiple cultivars that they're processing leaves from. But I have raw and ripe. I have black tea. I know they produce white tea. I don't know if they sent in any oolongs, but it looks like they do produce, I'm guessing, a roasted oolong. Yeah, no, actually it doesn't look like it's that roasted. It's also out of stock. Samaka varietal. Okay, so okay. So my bad. I got this wrong. I think that they're going to different regions to find material, which is amazing. I don't believe I have the oolong, but frankly, I would really love to try it. I think that'd be really interesting. It's been a longer episode. Sorry. I think I've been talking almost the whole time. This has been a fun tea, lively. Today, my drinking so far, I've had one of their ripes and finished off some dark tea from last night. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was the John something say village. Ugh, sorry everybody. I believe that was from Yunnan Sourcing. So in the context of my drinking for today, I'm pretty teed in. I've already had quite a bit, and I feel like later on in the day it can be harder to notice the subtleties of some of these nicer, lighter brews. And I feel like I am noticing it really well in this tea. Really lovely residual sweetness. Yeah, this is definitely a treat. So they actually also sent over one other tea that's not even on their website. It's a green tea. So tune in soon, because I think I'm going to drink that next episode. Hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Be at suntea.com. Thanks again, Steve. Bye, everybody.